Hey guys, doing a knife review today. Been a while, I know. This is going to be on my Tim Galyean Pro Series Junkyard Dawg, and this is the small version. Tim Galyean is a 24-year-old knife maker. He does fully custom knives as well as the Pro Series, in which the only difference is the Pro Series he uses CNC machines to make the cutouts for the blade and handles, and then he hand finishes them. As of now, he is not taking orders, and he hasn't done anything with the Pro Series in a while, and main reason being he is busy, I believe, working full-time for Kershaw. You guys may know of some of his Kershaw production models, such as the Rake and the Turbulence, as well as the Junkyard Dawg, but the larger size. Anyhow, given that, these knives are hard to find now because he hasn't been doing any custom work or the Pro Series, and he only had limited batches for these. And so if you are lucky enough to find one, many have kept them new in box, most are like new or new in box, such as this one, and they typically sell for market value of, either a premium or at cost. But given that, extremely high quality knives and on par with Chris Reeve even, I would say, as far as fit and finish and whatnot. But getting to the knife, as far as specs go, there are no specifications on his website, but this is just to the best of my knowledge, using just a simple ruler. Overall length is 7 inches, blade length is 3 inches, the handle length is 4 inches, so being closed that would be 4 inches, and the cutting edge is 2 3/4 of an inch. Starting with the blade here, you can see that this is a pretty thick blade. If you compare that to the Spyderco, you'll see that this blade is very thick. I measured it at about 4 millimeters, give or take. So this is a chunky blade, and as you can see, it is a full flat grind. And there you go, we got a smudge. That's why we got the cloth. As you can see here, this is a full flat grind of 154 CPM crucible powder metallurgy, 154 cm, high polish with a stone wash. So you can see the grains in it, but it is also very highly polished. As you can see my shirt and camera there in the background. Laser engraved on the front is Galyean Pro Series. On the flip side, we have IKBS. So as you guys can see, there are no thumb studs. This is a flipper only knife, and it does feature the IKBS bearing system. So very fast. Handles, as you can probably assume, and as far as type of locks that I prefer and favor, titanium handles, 6 aluminum, 4 vanadium, the rest titanium, CNC'd with the RIL, Reeve Integral lock or frame lock, nice and early lockup, and a titanium clip. As you can see, it is an Air Force theme, Air Force logo. We got some bombs here. Excuse me, guys. And then on the back side, you see 005 and some more bombs and that sheet metal look that the planes feature. Lanyard hole here for the very back there. And you'll notice no clip holes on the left side of the knife, so this is for right-handers only, tip up and tip down. And clip is very comfortable, it goes in and out of the pocket very nicely, easily. And you'll also notice that there's a hole in the clip, so you can reach the pocket clip, the pivot, without having to take the pocket clip off. So I think that's a very cool feature that he decided to do, because there are knives that have pocket clips, and when they put them over the pivot, you have to take the pocket clip in order to adjust the pivot. So I think that was very brilliant that he incorporated that. 2 titanium spacers, anodized blue. Very simple knife, if you guys see here. Flow through design, there's only 2 standoffs and the pivot. So that's similar to Chris Reeve, where there's only 3 points on the entire knife. So kudos to him for making a very simplistic design, easy to clean. And you may be wondering, where's the blade stop on this? Because as you see, there is none. As you see when I close it here, you'll see that there's a little shelf. And so when it flips open, this part here wedges underneath that little shelf there. So as it goes, you'll see that the lock engages and goes underneath that shelf. So you can kind of see that the shelf is right there, and this lock right here engages right underneath it. And so that's a pretty sweet design. This is the only knife that I have that has that type of lock. Extremely smooth with the IKBS, very fast. It's a little bit of pressure, a little bit of pressure, and the blade flies out just as expected from these bearing systems, whether it be KBT or IKBS, or there's a handful of different names for these bearing systems now. But very fast, very solid, flips out with a lot of authority. Lockup is nice and early. There is absolutely no play. Just wonderful. This is a solid knife. And as far as ergonomics go, there's a variety of grips you can have. I found you got to kind of play around with it. I apologize for the birds. They're so loud. There's a pinch grip that you can hold like that. Wow, they are going nuts. Excuse me. So there's a pinch grip that you can do where you hold it like that and bring it up into your palm and then close, which I find is slightly uncomfortable because that leaves gaps in my fingers. So I kind of have to like really tighten in. I have to like close my fingers around and then bring it up my palm to be kind of comfortable in this grip. Or I can bring my fingers back, and if I drop my pinky underneath this, it fits a little bit more comfortable so I can reach it into my palm. The most comfortable grip though with this knife, I'd have to say, is giving the full 4-finger grip, bring it into my palm, and my right thumb over the top of the blade. As you see, there's a nice curvature right here that seems perfect to put your thumb. I don't know if that was intentional or if it just happened to be an awesome pro that came out in the end, but it provides very nice purchase. And given the fact that it's about 4mm blade, there's a lot of steel behind your thumb, and having it nice and flat, there's a really nice purchase, and like you have a lot of authority in your cuts. So when you're push cutting and whatnot, you have a lot of control. So I do really like that. And not to mention the blade design is very nice. It's kind of a modified Warncliffe drop point. I don't know, with all these terms and whatnot. But overall, a very solid knife, extremely high quality. The tolerances are very, very tight as well. And overall, just so smooth. As you can see, their tolerances are very tight with that IKBS system. The way they have the cutout in the titanium and they have the free-flowing bearings. They're able to make a very, very tight, thin package. And you'll also notice the jimping on this here is actually engraved into the slabs of the handle rather than raised out or cut across. It kind of like squares, and it's very grippy. When your thumb's in there, it really does lock in. And you also have a little bit of jimping here on the flipper for you to get some purchase when you're flipping it out. Very fast. You can hear the solid authority. Another thing I really like about the knife is the detent. This will not flip out. No matter how hard you flip, the detent on this is so strong, the blade will never come out in your pocket. And it just takes, you can feel it. When you put your finger on this flipper, you can feel the detent because you're building up pressure and the blade just flies out. So there's really no slow way to opening this knife. But given the way it looks, I don't think it's too threatening. If anything, it's beautiful. And just some quick size comparisons here next to the Sage 2. See, they're roughly the same size. Sage 2 is a little bit wider given that leaf-shaped blade, as well as the ergonomics being a bit more fitting for me on this. But this one weighs a bit more, I believe, just due to the thickness of the blade and also possibly slightly thicker titanium. And then next to the Sebenza, all of a sudden the Galyean shrinks. It is a small knife, guys. This is a small knife, but it's beefy. It is a tough, small knife. But yeah, so you can see that the Sebenza kind of shrinks the Junkyard Dawg there. And I would give you guys the weight on this, but I honestly don't know, and I don't have a scale readily available. It is heavier than that of the Sage 2, but it is lighter than that of the large Sebenza. And overall, just a wonderful knife. I'd have to say this one is actually going to be sold to a friend over on Blade Forums. Not because I don't like it. I'm to the point where I don't sell knives because I don't like them. I sell knives because I have found another knife that I want to try.